Hello guys, and welcome back to another Sims 4 room build, and you're gonna watch this and you're gonna be like, Amanda, what do you mean a room build? It's going to be a room. I'm building a barn today, and I'm building an actually pretty big barn, but the reason why is because I've seen a few people online say, I'm building on the 64 by 64, I don't know how to build a barn, or I don't want to build a barn, somebody built a barn for me. And so I thought, well, I'll build a barn, and then eventually I'll get it up in the gallery. I keep saying that, and then I know I'm not, because I don't have time. Anyways. Fine. I'll catch up on the gallery and then it'll be a lot easier, like, because it'll just be post instead of, like, catch up. But regardless, my thought process was, if I build this barn and then pop the walls out strategically so it's all one room, then you could just plop it on your lot and you'd have a fully functional barn. You just have to put the walls back. So that was the plan. So that's what we're building today. So yes, it is a room build, even though it looks like an entire house build. And it's not a house, it's just a barn. And I'm also going to send it to my friend as soon as this video goes up, because she's been asking for a blue barn. And this is the same friend that I've built stuff on this channel for before. She's lovely. So it is blue. It's a 3-horse and tack space. But you could turn this tack space into a 4th stall pretty easily. I just liked the gameplay, the story of having the tack room. This is very close to my dream barn. It's very close to my dream barn. Because it's little, but it has an organized tack space. It has a tack up area, which won't really matter in The Sims, but, and it has enough space for a few horses, and it has a lead out space in the back. There would be some tweaks, obviously. If this was a real life barn, I would want, running water in the tack space, which I think I maybe put a sink in there, but I would also want running water in the tack up space so that it could also be a properly drained, wash stall. And I would have a few other things. Like, I've thought about this for years. I've been writing now, I'm trying to think, 14 or 15 years. I've been involved in horses for 14, 15 years in either leasing or lesson writing or apprenticing or show writing. And I've been a horse mom now for 5 years. Or it'll be 5 years at the end of September. I'm recording this at the end of August, so September 21st, I think it is? No. Yes? No. That number isn't accurate. I have to look at my phone. I'm such a bad mom. September 20th, 21st, 22nd, somewhere around in there, Nellie came home. She is my first owned horse, my very first baby. She's sitting out in the pasture right now, eating away after being a total agent of chaos today. She's such a sweetheart, but oh my gosh, she was just... So Nellie is injured and can't be ridden, which is completely fine. I bought her entirely. I joke that she was my impulse purchase when I got my first job. And I think I've told this story before, but I was looking at Rose Craigslist ad, and Rose, my second horse, I'll get to her in just a second. And she's a black and white paint. And so I was trying to find her ad again. And I was trying to find it on somebody else's computer, and I came across Nellie's ad, who is also a black and white paint. And she was at a rescue, and they were basically like, look, here's the deal. She's been heavily abused. She, like, can't be ridden because of her injuries. She's kind of a head case, but the only people who have wanted to come rescue her thus far want to send her to the meat thing, and we don't want to do that. And I was like, she's way too pretty, which I say that about every horse. But I was like, no, so I called like an idiot. And I was like, hey, can I come meet this horse? And they were like, you realize she can't be ridden? I was like, I don't care. Can I come meet this horse? I drove out there with a big old bag of treats, fell in love with this horse, and was like, okay, well, I'm not actually set up to have a horse yet, so, like, you know, let me figure this out. And they were like, well, we'll help, because she's never had the opportunity. Like, no one's ever shown this much interest in just loving this horse. And I was like, my whole goal with this horse, because they were worried. They were like, are you going to send her to meet? And I was like, no, my plan is to just hug on this horse. I was like, I don't have plans beyond the fact that she's amazing. Her personality is so sweet for what she's been through, and I just want to love on her. So they were like, well, we'll help you figure it out. And I was like, okay. Smash cut to, like, literally 2 days later, I get a call at work, because I was working outside the house at that point, and my dad's like, can you explain to me why there's a horse trailer coming down the driveway? And look, all I'll say is that I wasn't planning on that happening that fast, but I made the 20-minute drive between where I worked and home in, like, maybe 5 minutes. I was like, oh crap, because we never really, like, agreed on anything. They just were like, you passed all the checks, and we brought her to you. And I was like, okay. So then I ran to the bank, gave them their donation fee, signed the paperwork, and Nellie came home. And my sweet girl was so sad to be leaving her herd for so long. So then I sort of, like, rushed the situation, because then I called Ro's owner, and we had some discussion with Ro, because Ro was supposed to be bought by somebody else, but Ro had ended up not passing vet check, which I knew, and I was fine with. Because it's arthritis, which meant she can't really be used for competition, but she's still just an absolutely lovely personality of a mare. I'll get to her in a second. But, I called her owner and I was like, I need to buy this horse, like, now, because I've already fallen in love with her. Like, she's already, like, mentally mine, and, like, now I have another horse who's freaking out because she misses her friends. So, yeah, that's how Nellie came home. And then Ro came home exactly 1 week later, and I was much more prepared for her. And Ro is also a black and white paint, and she is, probably about 6 years younger than Nellie, and she was a rodeo star, and then she got diagnosed with a ring bone, which is sort of like a severe, the best way to describe it if you don't really know horses is just like, it's kind of like horse arthritis. It's a little bit different, but like basically. And so I knew that riding like for competition and stuff wasn't gonna be a thing, but I just wanted like a weekend pony to hang out with, and her personality has been so stinking amazing that it doesn't matter to me that, like, you know, there's no, like, upward trajectory, really. She's made me such a better horsewoman and stuff, and so, and between her and Nellie, I have all the fun in the world out there with my sweet girls. What was the initial point of telling the story? Not a clue. Not a clue at all. Oh, I think I started by saying neither of my girls are stall girls, and what I meant by that is, they're, like, out in the pasture and stuff so much, that, and they want to bed together and stuff, that they have an indoor space. They have, like, an indoor closable space, but they have, I don't think, ever been closed in there, because even in the wintertime, I just throw a whole bunch of heat lamps and stuff in there to make it nice and warm, and a whole bunch of good warm bedding, so that it's nice and toasty in there, and then I just leave the door open, and they kind of have run of the farm all year long. And they have big toasty blankets, too. Spent a bunch of money on big toasty blankets for my sweet girls, which I was worried about Nellie, right, because I told you she's been, like, pretty heavily abused and stuff, and it took a long time to get her comfortable. She's the sweetest personality, but she's scared of everything, and she's still scared of a lot of things. I will fix that stall clipping into that water before I post this. But it took forever to get her comfortable with haltering. It took like a year before I could halter this horse. She has got a lot of trauma, and every new thing is, the instant response is fear, and then we figure it out. But the blanket, because she had watched Robin being blanketed for a while, and I finally found a blanket that I liked for Nellie that had everything that I wanted in it, and my sweet Nell was like, warmth? Like eternal cuddles? You mean I get to just wear a hug? And instantly fell in love with her blanket, and I was so happy. Like, she still gets worried when we put it on. She still every once in a while will be like, Mom, I don't want to put this on. And I'm like, that's fine, you don't have to. But it gets to be negative too sometimes here, and a lot of times she'll come out and be like, yeah, I've changed my mind. You make a valid point, Mom. I'm going to wear my blanket now. So, can you tell I love talking about my horses? Can you tell I adore talking about my sweet girls? And now I have an excuse to on this channel. You're never gonna hear anything else. I'm never gonna shut up about them. But yes, that's where we're at. I don't remember the initial point of telling those, but yeah, my sweet Ro she's now 11. I got her when she was 6, and she was a like little rocket to start. She's calmed down quite a bit, although in saying that, she was a total rocket today. Tuesday, so I'm recording this on Friday. Tuesday, I'm actually sitting here with a very sore elbow because she almost always spooks forward, and she never spooks. She's like freaking bomb-proof, which I love. But she almost never spooks. But when she does spook, she usually just runs forward. And then we either stop, or she decides she's not going to stop, and then we run and stop, and we're fine. But she spooked sideways, which in the 5 years I've owned her, she's never done. She's never spooked sideways. And my dumb self fell off like a sack of potatoes. Like, it was not graceful. It was not elegant. It wasn't cool. There was nothing about this fall other than this. I didn't get injured, which was great, because last time I fell off, I actually broke things, which was not great, and gave myself a concussion. But both of them also my fault, for the record. Like, I ignored this fall off was because I ignored something that was spooking her, and oh, I did fix it. Oh, good. I fixed the trough. I don't need to oh, no, not that one. I'll fix that one. Anyways, the last one was because I put her in a situation she was a little too spooked to be in, and anyways, point being, every time I've fallen off, it's been my fault. But this time I didn't hurt anything, but I just, like, It was a sack of potatoes moment. And then I had to do like the walk of shame back to the mounting block because yours truly has fallen off enough in her life that I have like broken ribs and like busted knees and stuff. And I'm mostly healed, but like if I try to get up from the ground, a lot of times I end up like re-hurting myself a little bit. So I have a mounting block. That was my first like splurge in terms of like tacking gear. Is I bought the saddle. Well, I bought the horses obviously, and I bought the saddle. I got one fitted to Row, although it doesn't fit her anymore. So we've been riding mostly bareback until I find something else. I didn't actually have to buy her bridle. I had a bridle. But I bought like grooming equipment and stuff. And then while I was buying the grooming equipment, I saw this 3-step mounting block, which usually they're 2, but this one's 3. And the lady was like, "Oh, you own a draft?" And I was like, "No, ma'am, I own a 14-hand pony." And she was like, "Oh, she's like 14.3, but like darn near pony sized." And she was like, "Well, you realize this block is going to be really tall." And I was like, "Yes, but I am only 5 foot. And I would prefer to not have to contort to get on my pony." So everyone kind of laughed at me, but it's great. I love my 3-step mounting block, and no one can ever tell me otherwise now. It'll be something I own forever, because I was climbing the fence beforehand. I can, for the record, mount from the ground with the saddle on. I have never tried bareback. I should. But I usually just find a fence to climb or something. But yeah, now I'm spoiled and I have a 3-step mounting block, and it's glorious. I, side note, want a saddle rack, like these saddle racks. These are so nice. And usually, it doesn't look like these do, but usually when they're big and wooden like that, they also have storage underneath, like either for your grooming supplies or for your pad or something like that. Or your pads, plural, if your horse needs that kind of thing. They're so nice. I have a fold-up one right now, which I like. I like it a lot. And theoretically, I own a 3-saddle rolling cart that I was gifted. But my sweet friend is a world champion show rider, and she asked to borrow it approximately a decade ago. And she was like, "I'll return it." And I was like, "Don't worry about it. Use it during show season. And when you're done with it, let me know." And she uses it daily. And finally, like, literally, I think it was like last year, she was like, "I promise I'll get this back to you at some point." And I was like, "Girl, it's yours. Like, it's mine in name, but it's yours. It's fine. I don't need it back. It's making you so happy." It's making your life easier. And she's such a sweetheart. She's always had my back on everything. And, like, I text her all the time when I've done something. I'm like, "This horse was injured." And she's like, "This horse yawned. You're fine." Or I'll be like, "I fell off and it was so cool." That kind of thing. She's my buddy. She's my little sister. So, like, I don't really care. She's gonna take good care of the rack, and it's making her life easier. So this is the tack room I was talking about. It's all kind of decorated up. I did put some horse rewards in there. If you're gonna play with it, you can totally get rid of those and then earn them yourself. I put some debug stuff in there. The one on the sink, it shrunk in there, but I kind of liked that because it kind of looked a little bit more like a curry maybe or something like that. And then I have the actual brush sitting up on the thing, and then the hoof pick. My brain is dead, can you tell? That hoof pick, though, man, is like a little bit giant. Maybe if editor Amanda remembers, she won't, but maybe if editor Amanda remembers, I'll put a picture of my hoof pick. I have actually several, because, like, you just collect them over the years, but I have a blue one like that, and I have a sparkly pink one, which was not ideal. But the thing about horse gear, like, I used to, for the most part, until I owned property and owned my own horses, I rode in, like, training barns, and then I rode whatever my trainer needed me to ride. And I had some of my own tack and stuff, because you collect stuff over the years. You want to have, like, your own grooming stuff for the most part that you can keep clean. But the thing about being in a community barn like that is things walk off. And it's not always even intentional, but, like, when everyone has the same pair of black boots, things walk off, And so I ended up getting a sparkly pink hoof pick because, when you're a teenager, everyone's going through the phase of, like, I don't like pink, I don't like sparkly, I'm a different kind of girl. And so I figured if my nonsense was sparkly and pink, it wouldn't walk off. Spoiler alert, it didn't. It was great. And so a lot of my stuff like that, like, if you were to walk into my tack room, it's an explosion of color. I have bright orange buckets, I have bright pink buckets, I have different colored purples and blues, I have brightly colored brushes. The horses, each row is purple usually, although I don't really color coordinate my horses as much as I used to when we were showing. Nellie is the rainbow, but she is neon rainbow because she's mostly white, so just every color looks good on her. So she has a teal halter, for example, and Ro has a purple halter, but Ro has like a red headstall. Nella's lead rope is black with neon flecks all through it, that kind of thing. So, like, everything is really brightly colored, but it works because people don't want to steal it. And also, like, if I can't get something brightly colored, because even like my pitchforks are brightly colored, but if I can't get something brightly colored, I'll take brightly colored duct tape to it. It sort of makes it hard for things to walk away, especially if you can get, like, when we were in 4-H, everyone was assigned to duct tape because they make fashion duct tape now, you know? And so, like, I was mustaches for a while, and then I was purple camo for a while, and that way when you're at, like, a show or something, someone borrows something, and then they try to say it's theirs, you can be like, ma'am, why does it have purple camo on it, though? It's not foolproof. Like, if someone really wants to steal your stuff, they'll steal your stuff, but, like, for the most part, you could be like, whose hoof pick is this? And you'd be like, oh, it's mustaches, it's Amanda's, you know? I have yet to talk about this barn at all, I swear. It's a barn. I don't know what to tell you. It's got 3 stalls. Each stall has its own set of food and water, so you can keep it set up. I wish we had gotten bridles as wall decor. That'd have been really cool. You can kind of see one hanging there, but it's not complete on those hooks. And you wouldn't hang it on hooks like that. You would hang it on a bridal rack, which are different. And again, if I remember, I'll go take a picture and show you, but I doubt it. Not that I don't want to, just that, like, literally as soon as I finish this voice recorder, it'll go out of my head. But I wish we had bridles hanging on the wall. That'd be really cool because that's where bridals mostly live. And it would be nice to have halters to hang on the stalls. But again, there's also the problem of, like, does anyone care about this but me? No, probably not. Most people are not going to care that there's no halters on the stalls and things like that because the halters just appear, right? Like, so they don't serve a purpose. I do love that we have saddle racks, and again, I maintain I want one of those. The only thing I would change is it doesn't look like they have wheels. And if I had one as heavy as that, wheels, because you want to be able to haul it around for, like, cleaning and stuff, and you don't want to be lifting that because the saddle itself can weigh anything from, like, really light saddles, they can be, you know, 5-10 pounds, but some saddles can be upwards of 50, freaking heavy. Like if you're doing, like, a big draft horse and stuff like that. My saddle, I think, is somewhere in the vein of, like, 25. It's not heavy, but it's not light, but it's light for a Western saddle, because I have a Western saddle. I'm looking for an all-purpose English because my sweet girl's back is a little rough, and my Western saddle doesn't fit super well anymore. And as much as I would like to get another Western saddle, they're expensive, and the all-purpose ones are a little bit cheaper, so I think we're gonna start there. And also, I really like riding bareback, so I'm kind of looking for, like, the least obtrusive tack possible right now. Which just a few didn't need to know. But anyways, I'm potentially looking for another saddle, and I don't know what that's going to look like yet. Yeah, I was painting the ceilings because I love the ceiling paint. It changes everything. And I know that sounds silly, but it really does make a build look complete. It's much more immersive, much more exciting. So anyways, this is the build. And a whole bunch of information you didn't need to know about my horse experience. But, yeah, this is probably pretty close to my dream barn. If I was to buy, like, 40 acres and put a barn on it, this would be probably what it would look like. Right now, like I said, I have a really sweet little dairy. Oh, those are floating. I'll fix that before it goes up in the gallery. And I have about 6 acres, and it's lovely. But yeah, I'm really happy with this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to punch out the walls in strategic places, and I'll make a note of that when I put it up in the gallery. And then this will go up as a room, and then you'll be able to place this barn down smack in the middle of your property, like on the 64 by 64 lot, or what have you. The back fenced area I kind of made it look just like an equipment area, because the idea was, like, just to let you know that that's how you could build off of it. And, like, I wanted to put the horse ball out so that you were ready to go, but you could really easily modify that out and change it to be something else, and you don't necessarily need the tree or anything like that. It was just more of an illustrative point than anything else. And also, that bucket is debugged, so it might look like your horses walk through. Just, you know, be aware of stuff like that. But anyways, I'm gonna go. Thanks so much for hanging out with me and listening to my rambles. I cannot promise it's gonna get any better because now not only do you have rambles, but you have horse-shaped rambles. And, like, the thing is that's basically my entire personality. I keep trying to I try to be, like, a multifaceted person. I'm just a horse girl. That is what it is. I'm gonna talk to you all later. I hope you're having a great day and you're feeling loved. And if you're not feeling loved, please know that I love you and I'm glad you exist. I'm glad you're here hanging out. I'm glad you're here making the world a better place just by being you. I will talk to y'all in the next one. Bye-bye!